And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we are going to be debating and negotiating different deals, and we're going to be figuring out who's the boss. So we're looking at I'm the Boss from Griffin Games. This originally came out, I believe, in the States in 1994. It was a Spiel des Jahres nominee in 94, lost to Manhattan that year. I could see why it was nominated. We'll talk about that afterwards. Griffin Games just reprinted this, 2014 here, early in the year. It just got reprinted. I've been trying to get my hands on one of these for a long time, and trade hasn't, and I'm really happy it got reprinted to check this out. It's a negotiation game, 3 to 6 players, takes an hour or less, and it's designed by the late, great Sid Sackson, who designs seem to stand the test of time. Is this one included in those types of games? Let's check it out. I'll show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side and see if it lives up to the Sid Sackson name. At the beginning of I'm the Boss, everyone is dealt randomly an investor, which has a name, a color, and a letter that corresponds with them. So we have Andy Ainsworth, Bridget Banks, Carolyn Cashman, Deborah Doherty, Eric Ellison, and Freddie Fox. Over the course of the game, we're going to be moving around the board. That is going to bring up different deals that are going to be negotiated for, and there's a total of a possible 15 deals that could be in the game. Typically it's 10 to 15 that happens in the game. So as the game starts, someone is randomly assigned the first player. The player to their right basically starts them on any spot on the board they want. And on your turn you have 2 decisions. You can either try to make a deal on the spot that the marker is, or you can roll the die. Let's first talk about making a deal. Let's assume you wanted to make this deal. Each deal has a few parts to it, so let's look at closer. So let's look at a few different deals to see how they might work. Deal number 1 in the game is worth, each dividend is worth $2 million, okay? And so when we look at these, we see that this deal here is a 3 dividend deal, so 3 times 2, this one's worth $6 million total, and it needs 2 investors, that's the mark there. And it needs investor C and F, and I just happen to be Freddie Fox, the F, or the orange investor. And so it's going to be taken apart with me and possibly whoever's holding the C card. Now, if we look at some of these other deals that look at how these look, is this one, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dividends. So this one's worth 10 million, but it needs 4 investors. It needs 1 of each of 4 of any of these. Where this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 dividends times $2 million, which is 8 million. And you only need 3 investors. So you need 1 of either D and E, and 2 of any of these A, B, and Fs. And so that's sort of how the deals get split. It goes all different various ways, but those are sort of the ways that the deals get split. So let's actually say that we started here, and let's talk about making a deal. So if I was Freddie Fox, that would be great, because all I got to do is find the person that has this card and try to make a deal with them. Sounds easy. If I wasn't Freddie Fox, I would still be the boss of this, and I could still make money, but I have to get these investors in. So depending on who you are, it's going to change the way that negotiations work. Obviously, if I am this guy, and I just need this person, then we can kind of just work out a deal together. But if I'm not, then once I grab these 2 people in, we're going to be negotiating the 3 of us, me being the boss, and the 2 other investors. In that case, we're going to be splitting up the $6 million, and it's going to be an all-for-all negotiation. And once people know they have certain power, for example, if this is the only person that holds the C card, they have an awful lot of power because the C investor has to be in the deal. So if they're the only person that's the C investor, they have a lot of negotiation power to say, hey, look, if you don't give me, 4 or 5 of this $6 million of this deal, I'm out, because I know you're either going to take 2 or nothing. How about that? And it gets really cutthroat and really fun. Now that's not the only game, because there's a lot of cards that each player is dealt, and you have influence cards that can be played to change the deal up. So let's talk about how these cards affect the negotiation. So this person's been saying, hey, look, you need me. Without me, you can't do this deal. I know it's a $6 million deal. I'm going to take 5, you're going to take 1, or so you're going to take 1 or nothing. And then somebody else goes, oh, you know what? They play an influence card down. They say, actually, no, I have somebody in that clan as well. And now this person can act to be like the C investor, say, so she doesn't really have all that power anymore. And you know what? Let's just split it 50-50. But then this person might throw a travel card down on them and say, sorry, your person, your investor, they went traveling and they're gone. I'm now in position again. And then, you know, someone, the deal might almost be ready and be done, and someone might throw down an "I'm the boss" card, and they yell, "I'm the boss." Now, whoever was originally the boss no more is. The person who threw this down is the boss. And then they start to negotiate, and they're the one that's running the deal. Somebody else might go, I'm the boss. And then someone else might go, stop. We can stop this card and pull out that second "I'm the boss" card. So there's all sorts of ways, and you can never cancel a stop with another stop. The stop card allows you to sort of cancel, you know, the "I'm the boss" card, the travel card, or a recruitment card, which we'll talk about next. So there's all sorts of ways to influence deals with different investor cards, with "I'm the boss" cards, and tipping the tables in your favor. And the negotiations don't go in any specific order. Everyone's negotiating at the same time, and these cards are being played at any time as well. And we're waiting for the right time to play those cards. The last type of card you can play is the recruitment. They're useless unless you have 3 of them. If you have 3 of them, you essentially steal one of these investor play cards that everyone has at the beginning of the game from them. Now, if there's less than 6 players playing, the ones that didn't start the game start sort of like on the board, and those are the ones that have to get stolen first. But once all those are distributed, you can steal anyone's with those, and that can be very powerful. So you're playing those cards to finish negotiations. So when the negotiation ends, it either ends and all deals have to stay valid, meaning you can't say you're going to do something and not do it. And so let's just say these guys split it even. So it was 6 million, and each of them got 3. Now the money in this game is really cool. It's got Sid Sackson's face on it, which is a great memory of the late, great Sid Sackson. And the money is that linen finish, which is really nice. It feels really good in your hands, and it's good quality. And then you stack the money sort of like this, so people can see how many cards you have, but they can never see how much money you have. And that makes it interesting as well. And once that's over, this deal would say it's done. And so nobody would ever be going to space again, and this goes to the next space. And the next player would, to the left of the "I'm the boss," whoever was the boss at the end of this, that person, it would be their turn. And they could try to make this deal. That was what we did last time. But the second choice they have, if they don't like this deal, they can roll the die. And when they roll the die, this moves 1, 2, 3, 4. And now they can decide if they want to do this deal or not. If they do, they do the deal. If they don't want to do this deal, they can pick up 3 cards of those influence cards that we showed you earlier and add them to their hands to give them some more competitive advantage later that people don't see coming. That's the whole entire game. Negotiation, moving around, and so essentially all these deals are going to happen in order. Let's look at them closer. So the first 3 of these are all going to be for 2 million per dividend, right? Okay, and then the second 3 are going to be 3 million per dividend. And then the next 3 are going to be 4 million per dividend. And then the next 3 go 5 million per dividend. And then it goes up to 5 million per dividend again all the way through the rest of the game. Now let's talk about how the game might end. Okay, so 9 deals have completed. The 10th deal is here. Let's say the person does the deal here and it gets finished. Starting with the 10th deal, the game could possibly end. If somebody rolls a 1, on the next turn, after you do this deal, somebody rolls the die, and if a 1 is rolled, the game ends. After the 11th deal, if a 1 wasn't rolled and it goes to the 11th deal, a 1 or a 2, a 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, and at the end of the 15th, it's the end no matter what. So you're never quite sure exactly when the game is going to end. At the end, you literally just count up your money, and the one with the most money is the winner. We had a little bit of time here. I want to show you a couple other things about the game. The insert is actually really good. Everything fits perfectly in this insert here. All the big thick cards fit here. All the play cards fit here. The nice little things here. It's a really well designed insert. I just want to show you a little bit more of the artwork as well. Just wanted you to get a closer look at the artwork and the coloring on the board because this new version is probably a lot nicer looking than some of the older versions that you've maybe seen. Let me take a couple more looks here. Really nice. And there you have the rest of the board. And on the investor play cards themselves, we showed you those. I wanted to show you maybe the thickness of these cards. They feel very solid in your hand, nice and thick. So great components here in this version of the game. Sid Sackson has done it again and again, like almost every review I've done of the games I love from Sid Sackson, like Sleuth and Venture and this. I kick myself for not having played this sooner. And it just also makes you wonder how many other older games are there that's been designed a long time ago that can still stand the test of time, that can still easily be one of your favorites, even though there's thousands of new board games and modern board game design keeps going on and different new ways of doing things that keep coming. But these classics that Sid Sackson has pumped out some 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago are still amazing, and this is one of those. I love negotiation games. They're at the top of my list. If I see a negotiation game, I want to try it. I love them. They're one of my probably two favorite genres, negotiation and deduction. This game is awesome. If you like negotiation, this game is excellent. I was a little worried that there was a roll and move mechanic, but actually it works out just fine. The game just opens up interesting negotiations. It's very straightforward. It is pretty, I would say, structured. So you know when you're negotiating and you know what you're negotiating for. So it's very structured, which can be good for some people and bad for other people. I like both. I like the very unstructured that you find in Nothing Personal, where anything goes, and I like the structured that you find in this game. So I like both of them. Some people might like one or the other. This is more of a structured, but by no means does it limit how fun or how interesting the negotiations can be because of those influence cards and the things where you're throwing down, deal's almost done, and it took them 5 minutes to get it all going, you're not in the deal, and then 3, 2, 1, going, gone, and then boom, you throw an I'm the boss card in. Now I'm the boss, and the whole table's changed. Or you throw any one of those cards and the whole table's changed right at the end, and it screws up the whole deal, gets you in there, stealing other people's investors card, bringing a person in from another clan, or making someone else's travel away so you can get in the deal, or just rummage up the deal if you're not in it or if you don't think it's going well. And even just the threat of saying, hey, if you don't get me in this deal, I've got some cards I'm going to play. This isn't going to go down. It's awesome. It's not pure negotiation, but it basically is a little, this hand management, there's strategy with the cards, and that adds a lot to it. If it was just the negotiation, it would have been good, but it's definitely a million times better with these different influence cards. I couldn't recommend this high enough. I could see why it was nominated for Spiel des Jahres. This is one of my favorite negotiation games. Great family game. It's easy to teach, easy to understand, plays in under an hour. What else could you possibly want? From Griffin Games, I'm the boss, Sid Sackson. You are the late great, and you're becoming one of my favorite designers, and I feel like I know you, even though there's no way I'll ever meet you. Thank you so much for making these great games.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.